right? They're all changing their price target after the earnings. Like, oh, really helpful, guys. No, that's a stupid way to think about it. They're changing their price target because they cover the stock. They cover the stock. If you cover the stock and the stock goes up, are you just going to stand there with your hands in your pockets? Of course not. You have to change your price target. You have to. You can't you can't have. I mean, this happens occasionally, but like you'll have people like Gordon Johnson who's a $70 price target on Tesla, but overwhelmingly, most Wall Street price targets are near the price. Okay, they're within plus or minus 20% of the price, and so when a stock reports earnings, they have to change their price targets. It Them changing their price targets doesn't mean they're stupid or useless or reactionary. It means they have to change it because the stock moved. So that's one thing I just think is so silly that I see all the time is retail traders saying, "Well, these guys must be real smart because they're changing their price target after the earnings." No, they have to do that. But if you pay attention to Wall Street research before earnings, okay, so leading up to an earnings season, that is where the quality research is. And if more retail traders read that research rather than reading price target changes after an earnings, they would come away with a lot more respect for Wall Street and for these guys. Because the research that I do on stocks, okay, on my computer, or that any of us in the
They
crowd
would
do,
come away
like
with a
as retail
lot
trader.
more
I'm a retail
respect
trader too. I'm
for
not an
Wall.
institutional trader. Okay. So when I'm talking about retail, I'm not saying, retail sucks. I'm retail. Okay. What I'm saying is that when you read this stuff intentionally, what you'll find is that there's a lot of signal if you know where to look for it. I talked about Morgan Stanley with semiconductors last year. Morgan Stanley literally nailed every major semiconductor name in the book before earnings. Before earnings. Like they upgraded these things before the earnings came out, before the stocks moved, right? And so if you pay attention to the tea leaves, you'll find quality information. But don't be quick to dismiss analyst research just because you think they're being reactionary. Broadly speaking, they're actually far less reactionary than you would think. So yeah, people need to put a little bit of respect on Wall Street when it comes to this stuff because there's a lot of good information, a lot.
You just got to know which ones you're looking for. There's a lot of pieces of information there, and I know that's your whole secret sauce is taking in all that information and figuring out which ones are relevant and going to move stocks and which ones aren't as much. Question before we kind of keep going on here: Have there been any analyst reports out about Tesla in the last couple days, weeks, talking about deliveries? And then we got the numbers coming in about 10 minutes here. And just quickly, Wall Street's expecting around 506, 507,000 EVs to be delivered. That's the official kind of Tesla analyst compilation. The Reuters Bloomberg number that comes out might be a little bit different, but this is generally the area. They have to hit around 515,000 EVs this year to have year over year growth over last year. We'll see if they're able to hit that. But was there any analyst commentary around deliveries? I know most of the analyst commentary recently have been around Musk's relationship with Trump, you know, FSD and stuff like that. But I don't know if I've seen too much around deliveries.
Nope, there's not too much around deliveries, and part of the reason for that is most of Wall Street has shifted their view on the stock pretty dramatically in the last 6 months. Even the guys in the street that were speculating are now arguably even more speculative. I think the example I used for this, what was it, a month and a half ago, was, not a month and a half ago, like maybe 3 weeks ago, when B of A came out and said that they were raising their price target by $100. And if you went and read the report, it's not like a typical Bank of America report. Bank of America reports are very, very good. I say this all the time, but they're the best on the
What was it, a
street
month
out
and
of
a
the
half
tier one
ago
names.
was,
And they
not a month
typically
and a
don't
half ago,
speculate the
maybe
way that a
three
lot of
weeks
these
ago
other
when B of
shops
A came
do,
out.
but they're willing to do so now with Tesla based on the Optimus program and based on the FSD transition. The most recent note was actually from yesterday on Tesla was from Truist, which was them reiterating a hold rating. But even in that note, they talked almost nothing about deliveries. They talked almost entirely about Tesla transitioning to FSD. And so essentially what's happened is Wall Street's just changed their view on where the value in that name is coming from. And as a result of that, you're seeing far less commentary on deliveries, on the core business, on margins, on vehicle sales in general. And I think that that actually probably broadly fits investor expectations as well. A lot of times what'll happen is an investor or shareholder base will have a dramatically different view of the stock than Wall Street does. This has been the case for a lot of high flying names. Think Palantir at 15 bucks. Okay, Palantir at 15 bucks was not a Wall Street darling. Okay, but it was a retail darling. Okay, same thing with Tesla at split adjusted. What is it trading at today? Probably split adjusted 50 bucks. The street wasn't really too bullish on it either. And now, stocks back to all time highs and their price targets. So, yeah, is there a little bit of sheep slash herd mentality that happens on the street as well? Absolutely. But narratives change for stocks. And, stocks are driven in the short term, by narrative more than they are by really anything else. And that's kind of what's happening, and that's what will happen for most of January. January tends to be when stocks move on narrative, and then you get into the thick of Q1 earnings season. Those stocks reshuffle based on their fundamental results, and then
Benzinga market
you
update,
follow
S&P
through
futures up
the rest
42,
of
the
the
Dow
year
futures up
accordingly, right?
271,
Which stocks
Nasdaq
have a
up
narrative, but
192,
then also
crude
have that fundamental
is up a
support, also
dollar
have that technical
dollar
support.
11
Those
at
tend to be your best performers of the year.
$72.83.
That's how it was
Natural
last year.
gas
That's
is up
probably how it will be
30
again this
up
year. So it's really
correction
important in
3
January to
cents
pay
at
attention to how stocks
$3.66.
respond
Gold is up
to the narrative
17.10 at
changes. If they
26.58.10
respond to the
an
narrative
ounce,
changes, some
and
won't.
Bitcoin futures up
And
31.70 at
paying attention to those things because it's
97,290.
going to give you a good cue headed into Q2 and Q3 of what institutional positioning might look like, of what stocks institutions are going to want to own headed into the rest of the year. And so that's why this kind of stuff's important. But yeah, on Tesla, big narrative change. I think delivery numbers are probably less relevant than they were even 3 months ago. I think the reactions to the last few sets of delivery numbers have been evidence of that. If you look at the price action on the delivery numbers in the last 3 or 5 releases, um, very different from the 3 to 5 releases before those, right? And the reason for that is a shift in narrative because investors care less about the deliveries now than they did a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Tesla. Big change in the story, really. And um, what will really drive the performance of that stock this year, in my view, will not be the earnings. It will not be the delivery numbers. It will be whether or not we get meaningful updates on Optimus and FSD. That's the game. And if Tesla fails to deliver a meaningful either robotaxi pilot program or Optimus pilot program, if they fail to do that this year, I think the stock will go down a lot. If they do that, I think the stock will go up more and will probably be trading at a ridiculous valuation. It's already pretty ridiculous, but I think it'll get even more ridiculous if they do get an update on those programs. And I think we will get an update on Optimus this quarter, in my opinion. That's a guess, but I think we will.
Well, they did some end of year stuff, like an end of year thread, and there was a couple Optimist stuff in there, which I did think was interesting, and it was showing some progress. So, yeah, I think those are some very fair points there. Quickly, I want to keep saying this. We got about 4 or 5 minutes until the numbers are expected to come out. They still could come out a little bit later, but should be before the open. Make sure you're following the speakers up here. Stock Talk's been carrying a lot on the spaces. He's the co-host up here. Make sure you're checking him out and giving him a follow. He tweets a lot about analyst reports, also is a big Tesla guy, and obviously we co-host Stocks on Spaces every pretty much every single weekday except for Fridays. Amp up here helping me with this morning spaces all the time, helping you guys get ready for the day in the stock market. And then we got that Ticker Talk account up here, which I will come to. But a bunch of the squad who does that live trading spaces, that's one of the live trading spaces. So if you enjoy live free content on X talking about live trading, that Ticker Talk's also a great follow. Quickly, and before I go over to you, I'm very curious to hear what everyone down below thinks Tesla's about a report here for Q4 deliveries. So in that Spaces chat right now, it is a purple 7 in the bottom right of your screen, maybe even a purple 8. Go in and throw what you Tesla is about a report. Analysts have the expectation that around a 506 point 7 thousand deliveries, 506.8 thousand deliveries. Like I was saying earlier, to get year over year growth, which they've said they were going to do, they would need to report 515,000 deliveries. So I'd be curious what everyone in the spaces thinks they're about to re-reporting. We think we're going to get some weak numbers, some strong numbers here. I commented down below from the ARC Daily account, but I put 516,000 deliveries. I think we squeak by with some year over year growth. I think we find a way. It's like all how EPS is always magically like 1 cent above or below expectations, and revenue is like point 0.1 away. I feel like we're gonna get 1,000 vehicles delivered over. Made a big push. Emp, you were unmuted though.
Oh, I was just gonna let you know that Ticker Talk account's up here on my desktop just to pull the live audio.
Gotcha. Okay, are you live right now?
Yes, I have a YouTube stream going with live spaces piped straight through, and then we've got the visual stuff going with it. So, little test out today. We're working on some stuff in the background, Evan. I know you're excited about, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm listening to it a little bit, but yeah, perfect. I appreciate that. That is interesting. I see on the page. You can do whatever you want on there. I'm just curious to see how this goes. I'll check in later. How did it sound? No, don't answer the question. Bad timing with Tesla coming up. Stock talk. You have any thoughts on what they might be announcing as far as deliveries right here? You think they're going to be able to eke through with year growth, or
Yeah, I think they have a shot to do it. I mean, look, I tend to try to focus on the things that I think matter. I don't think deliveries matter as much anymore, so I'm not as interested in it. But yeah, I think they have a shot to do it. China has been very strong,
well, stock
very
talk?
strong. Yeah.
Also, what's going to be announced here? The last couple times they've done this, they've also released energy storage stats with this as well. Is that
Yes,
something you're focused
that's
on?
more. Yeah, that's much more my flavor.
What was it, like
I'm
8 point something the first
very.
time, and it was 6.9 something last quarter? Is that what it was?
Yeah. So it was 6.9. They had a big jump to the nines, and then they pulled back to the sixes. I think as long as they stay
I don't know how his
in that
volume level
7 to 10
is, but
range, I think it's very impressive.
I haven't really
I
played
just think the
around
energy business doesn't get talked about enough
talking
at
over the
all.
spaces.
It's a very
What's up,
impressive
Cam?
business, and there's so
What's
many
up,
secular
Evan?
tailwinds. The beautiful
Bobby's
thing
in
about energy
here,
storage is
Victor.
it kind of fits
Oh,
into
awesome,
this
Victor. You can't
niche
catch.
where it's not politicized, right?
Oh, you're not
One thing
working
about
today? That's awesome.
American energy is that we arguably have the most politicized energy industry in the world. Actually, not arguably. We do have the most politicized energy industry in the world. And by politicized, what I mean is,
Bro, Texas, you're on your own grid down there.
yeah, I mean, Texas,
Kuno, what's
yeah,
up?
let's talk about energy. But
It is 9 o'clock, by the way, so just be on the lookout
yeah,
for these numbers.
yeah,
I'm
just
looking at it. Keep going
interrupt
though.
me when
Yeah.
they're out. But yeah, the beautiful thing about energy storage is that it lives in this niche where I don't want to say it's apolitical. I mean, there's obviously political interest in everything, but it's much less political than oil and gas or solar or wind. These are highly political industries, right? Like, I mean, the Democrats are bought and paid for by clean energy. The Republicans are bought and paid for by oil and gas. This is no surprise to anyone, right? Everyone who pays even the slightest attention to American politics knows this to be broadly true. What happens is that
Tesla
there
truck's
are
getting a reaction.
parts of the energy industry that are lost in translation because of that. One of those areas is nuclear, which had a big theme change last year, right? And the other area I think is energy storage, where nuclear and energy storage can fit into the energy equation without, you know, uh, rustling any feathers. They can fit into the energy equation and get tailwinds from both the Democrats and the Republicans and get widespread acceptance, you know, increased adoption, increased funding, government investment. All of these great things can happen in those industries
Ooh, looks
without.
like 496. I'm seeing someone tweeting right now.
Yeah, I just saw that too. My notifications.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tesla's
Tesla's
Mm.
down to
395 on the
395
chart
on
right
the
now.
chart right now.
Yeah.
296 deliveries is looks like it was 506.8 is what was expected. I'm gonna I still haven't seen it updated on their website. Yeah. 495.7 is what was reported. 495.6, sorry. Waiting for it to update on the website. Stock, what'd you say the stock was doing, Amp? Initial move is lower?
Yeah, it hit 390 just now actually. So it was trading around 410. It's down 20 bucks.
It's down about 2.8%.
We still haven't seen the energy storage numbers on here. I haven't got it hasn't updated on the website yet, so waiting on that. So you never know, there could be a little bit of a turnaround here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
Down
like they did miss.
yeah, 495.57 versus 512.27.
11 gigawatt hours stock talk.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
They only produced 460,000 vehicles, which is really interesting there. I don't know if they're doing something with like trying to clear off inventory. I'm not the expert, but
Well, there was some arguments that when they had the Cybertruck Foundation series, like they were begging people to buy that thing with basically no incentives when you could buy the next version at 20K less. It just seemed like some people made the argument that was kind of a little writing on the wall. But hey, I'm just reporting
DSP
what's out there.
Viant announcing strategic partnership with Association of National Advertisers, Delta Sigma.
yeah, interesting. Deliveries for 2024 came in at 1.789 million, obviously below the expectations of growth at 1.81 million. So missing it a little bit. Not bad. Tesla will be reporting earnings January 29th. January 29th, Wednesday after the close. That's pretty much everything that's in here. But total energy storage deployments for 2024 came in at 31.4 gigawatt hours.
With integrated generative AI to electric
That's
vehicles,
impressive.
that's
Yeah, the
SOU1.
energy numbers are
And
great, but the delivery numbers are
CID.
not great. I'm actually surprised they came in under 500 with considering how strong China was. That's actually surprising.
MMC,
The margins are not going to be good this quarter at all. I don't think it'll be a great fundamental quarter, but I said that last quarter and I was wrong. So
Yeah, we're at the point now. So we always like to talk about like retail analysts. People like to speculate going forward. If you can give them the reason to speculate, they will. And Tesla, with Trump's and Musk's relationship and where FSD might potentially be at, has given them a license to speculate a little bit for the next future. Obviously, you have to hit on those milestones. This isn't necessarily the best thing you want to see, but I think that environment of speculation around what Tesla could be doing in the near future is still there. So,
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
agree. Yeah, the stock trades much more on that speculation than it does on anything else. But yeah, I mean, look, you might get some short term pain around deliveries, even short term pain around earnings. But I still think, broadly speaking, this stock will trade more so in line with the FSD narrative than it will with anything else. FSD and Optimus, I think, are still the most important stories. But yeah, not great delivery numbers. I'm actually surprised they came in sub 500K. Margins will not be good, but they could be a beat like they were last quarter. I mean, like on an absolute perspective, margins weren't great last quarter either, right? But they were beat, and so the stock responded positively to that. So you could see a similar setup. But I mean, look, fundamentally, the core business doesn't look great, and by core business, I mean the vehicle deliveries. But the energy business looks great. The Optimus story I think looks great. The FSD transition still a question mark, right? If they actually can get that robotaxi program launched in Austin this year as planned. But I think incrementally speaking, if they get the robotaxi program launched in Austin and they get a meaningful update on Optimus, my speculation is that they will do an Optimus program the same way they did their Tesla Semi program. I'm guessing here, but they gave a few semis to Pepsi, let Pepsi test them on a route, and a lot of people are asking the question, well, why doesn't Tesla just test their semis internally? And the answer to that is they did, and they are testing it internally, right? They run their own logistics routes, they deliver cars. So they are using the Tesla semi internally too, just as they're using Optimus internally. But just because you're testing a product internally, it doesn't mean that there's no credence to signing a commercial agreement with, a third party tester. The market value of having another company take your product and use it in their own operations is much more significant than saying we're testing it internally and it's great, right? Like most companies who are testing a product internally are going to attempt to make that messaging anyway. So yeah, I still think there's significance in the idea that they would potentially do a trial program with Optimus the same way they did one with the Tesla Semi. That's my speculation on what might happen with them this year. But yeah, delivery numbers not great. I don't think margins will be great. But I also don't think investors are as focused on that part of the story anymore.
I appreciate the thoughts there. Stock talk. I want to just take a quick look at the stock, see if anything's changed as we got the gigawatt hour, the energy storage. It's
Recovered
making
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit of a comeback, but yeah, nothing
Yeah,
too crazy.
it
Hanging
was
around
down
that
about
3.
5%. It's down about 2.5 now. But I mean, I think a year and a half ago, if you posted a delivery number like this, I think the stock would be down 10%, right? And so maybe it does go down 10% today. I'm not saying it will or won't, but I think that that initial reaction at least shows you a little bit of difference in the expectations of how this stock traded, in 2022 and 2023 versus how it's trading now. So we will see.
I do see we have a Mr. Kevin Green joining us up on the spaces. How are you doing today, Kevin? You got any thoughts on these Tesla delivery numbers, or anything else you're watching in this market? Appreciate you joining in.
Well, yeah, good morning, Evan. I don't know. I got the tail end of what Stock Talk is talking about here, so maybe I'll say what I have to say, and I kind of want to kick it back to him because maybe I'm wrong here. So the last earnings announcement, I think that we saw a pretty decent pop in the stock because there was optimism that they were going to have production over 500,000, right? Like it just the on balance difference from their goal that they started at the beginning of the year kind of pointed to a number that was going to be over 500,000 for production, which just seems like that was, in my opinion, at that time, it was kind of like a lofty goal. And it seems like the market also was on the same side of okay, they were going to completely just ramp up, but I don't know. I don't know if people kind of remember that from the earnings announcement. I think that was actually one of the biggest surprises when they came out with the, that balance that was left seemed a little bit aggressive, and I think that's probably why the stock actually deserved a premium. I mean, you might see a little bit of a sell off here today, but understand, I mean, the stock really hasn't been trading towards the car fundamentals over the last couple of months. So yeah, it might take a little bit of a hit, but I think the narrative is still going to be intact for 2025 for the stock to continue to rise if we continue to get favorability from the White House. But that's how I kind of took it. Like I thought that the expectations were lofty already. So for them to kind of miss it, for me, it's kind of not a very big surprise because they pretty much went on this trajectory for the better part of the year. I might be wrong though, because once again, I remember the stock kind of popping and everybody was like, "Oh, look at that! Like the production numbers, and they're gonna complete or meet the on balance delivery numbers and production numbers by Q4 calendar Q4." And then it just didn't happen. It seems like the trajectory was pretty much meeting the average of what we saw for the stock or for the company all year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of how I take it. I think I was going to be surprised if we had over 500,000 for the deliveries, but I might be wrong.
No,
Does
you're right.
anybody else remember that?
No, I agree with you. Yeah, no, I think you're on point there. I mean, 2 months ago, there was nobody on the street that was projecting over 500, right? So, yeah, I think that earnings report did bake in maybe a little bit of over optimism, and I also think that China, all the aggressive China news we got about how good they were doing in China, that probably also bumped up expectations more than it should have, as well. So, yeah, I mean, they did well in
I
China.
thought
They did not do
I
well.
thought China was weak. I thought China was weak in November, early November, when you're looking at the registration numbers.
On a year-over-year basis, they're still doing well in China on a year compared to the rest of their vehicle growth. There might have been one print in November. I know what you're referring
Yeah,
to.
I thought it was like a 15% drop off in registration rates for it had to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
for
there
I
was
think it
one
was for
miss in November. I think it was the first November update. But the China updates come pretty frequently. They come more frequently than their global delivery updates. But yeah, you are right. There was a miss in November, but the most recent numbers were pretty promising on a year-over-year basis. So I think that's where some of the optimism came from. But yeah, the street was 20K ahead on estimates here, so or 15K ish ahead. So yeah, not great from the core business, but again, I also don't think the core business is the focus here. Like Kevin mentioned, I think the intimacy with the Trump administration is probably more important for the stock right now. And I also think the Optimus program is kind of at an inflection point potentially. I think you'll see some pretty meaningful updates this quarter about it, in my view. So that can definitely reinvigorate the stock if there's any sort of enthusiasm around Optimus as well. So yeah, there's still a lot to be said. It's obviously the first trading day of the year, so don't put too much stock into the price action from today, is what I would say. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much else to say on it. Delivery miss. We'll see how the real narratives shake out in Q1 and Q2, which are FSD and Optimus. But I do got to run and hop on our live stream. But yeah, we'll see you guys
I
on Stock
appreciate
Talk
you,
Space
Stock
later.
Talk. If you guys are not following Stock Talk already, you are totally missing out. Posting a lot of analyst reports. Big Tesla guy, big Amazon guy as well. Obviously on Spaces a bunch, so we appreciate him. I know your mornings are very busy to you, so we don't get you much on here. So when we do, it's a good discussion. I appreciate you for hanging out with us, and obviously the people liked it. We had 1,300 people hanging out in here with us. So appreciate you joining in, and definitely make sure you
Happy New Year,
follow
everybody.
Stock Talk Weekly. Yep, go Jets.
Take it easy,
No
guys.
kidding.
See you later today.
Appreciate you, Stock Talk. We'll see you this afternoon.
Yes, sir. See you later.
See you.
Appreciate you, Kevin. I wanna keep this conversation going for a little bit longer though. I want to hear if I know we were talking about Tesla there. Was there anything else catching your eye today in the market?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, we've seen this decent little pop this morning. I would just say last week, last week was very interesting. If you were trading, if you were not, probably kudos to you. If you're an intraday trader, it was probably a phenomenal week last week. But just kind of know liquidity is still a little bit light. Volatility is still a little bit elevated. And for me, I want to say, I hate saying it like this, but I kind of discount some of the price action just because if you have two of those dynamics, liquidity light, volume light, in the market, it doesn't take much to really push prices either higher or lower. And so I think right now, and even today and tomorrow, right, this is technically the last 2 days of this, seasonal Santa Claus rally. And so you might still see a lot of this, gappy or erratic behavior. And then I think once we get to the second week of January, it becomes a little bit more serious. I think that's when we do see volatility actually increasing here a little bit. We still have a Fed meeting. We're going to get some updated commentary when it comes to that. And then we also are going
Actually,
to have,
Kevin,
obviously, yeah, go ahead.
on the Fed, I know being that it's a new year, the voting member FOMC changed this year, and I know there was a lot of commentary talking about how it got more hawkish. I saw a nice chart from like Yahoo Finance, kind of what changes were coming. Do you, like, what changes do you think are coming to the FOMC? Like how is the lean changing with the voting members? Obviously, four went out, four new ones coming in. I'm curious, obviously, because it's the first day when we're really starting to think about that. If that will have any impacts.
That's a good question, and I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know what the rotation is going to be this year. I can look that up, right? Um, I don't think you're going to get a change. I mean, the sentiment from voting members and non-voting members seems to still be the same, in my opinion, right? I think there's a little bit more cautiousness when it comes to the labor market, resiliency when it comes to the economic impact of the market, uncertainty when it comes to fiscal policy. So I don't think that you're going to see a massive adjustment because of voting members really kind of changing, and that's how I kind of take it. That's my 2 cents on it. And I think right now it's going to be dependent on the labor market and inflation. And that's not like a groundbreaking assessment there, right? That's something that should be on the front of minds of everybody. And I think that's going to be the area that the Fed's really going to try to pinpoint here. I do get a little bit concerned when it comes to inflation, especially the stickiness of inflation and the higher for longer narrative. I think right now, if you're pricing in 2 rate cuts this year, I think that's appropriate. And you can make the case if you spread them out in a 6-month fashion and consider them maintenance cuts. I think the market's okay with that. I don't think 2 cuts this year is too aggressive for the market, regardless of what the inflation picture is. And so the inflation side of it, I think, is just you might get a tad bit of headwinds when it comes to January and February. Not a massive one, but with some minor ones here, especially if you're looking at utility prices. You get utilities gas piped; those kind of move to the upside. There's some seasonality effect there, but that's also definitely a risk to be mindful of. That's only around 8.5% of total headline CPI. But if you have that elevated for a considerable amount of time, that's where you can kind of get some pressures in some of the other areas of the market. We will get this, and you guys can highlight this on your radar. On the January jobs report, which is going to be reported in February. Okay. So the January data set reported in February is also going to be coincided with those yearly revisions. We had a similar situation happen back in, I believe, August. And if you look at the Philly Fed, they have a benchmark that tries to track or project what the adjustment is going to be. And their assessment, which they released a report, I believe, on December 14th, give or take, you can just search Philly Fed, non-farm payroll, adjustments. I have a chart for it because I just went through the report like a couple of weeks ago here, but they're expecting a little bit more and above an aggressive revision to the downside for those jobs, right? The last one was like 818,000 jobs that were, people call them phantom jobs, right? They're not phantom jobs. I mean, the individual states, they come out, they put out estimates for their best guess, and then we get updated census data sets, which is then like 95% of the overall data set, and that's where you get these adjustments, right? But the Philly Fed's going to expect the final revision for this number actually come in a little bit more aggressive. And so I think that's something to just kind of put on your radar in February and end of January, which is traditionally a little bit elevated volatility. You're looking at it from a seasonality standpoint. You add that component in there, and then it's also going to adjust the benchmarks for like the rest of the year, right? So I think that's probably the biggest, I don't want to say the biggest, but that's an item to keep on the radar for the first month and a half of this year. And once again, I kind of say, hey, you might get a bounce here today. I don't think that we're holding this head and shoulders pattern for right now. But any material breakdown, I think they kind of accelerate selling activity here. And that's what I'm kind of looking at. Look, crude oil is hitting the upside of its range. I would be cautious until it actually can sustain and hold above 72.5 on a weekly basis. That's where you probably could play the breakout. And if you do get a breakout, 75, 60 is going to be your first area of resistance. I feel like there's not really a super bullish take for oil this year, just because of the fact that any type of price advances, that's going to be sticky, right? Let's say we get up to 85, let's say we get up to 90, it's also going to be met with OPEC bringing production back online. So I think there's going to be enough supply in the market to really try to compress oil prices where you don't see a massive spike outside of a geopolitical risk event. So it's a nice little pop right now. I'm not discounting it by any stretch of the imagination, but I would say that if you're optimistic that oil is going to hit $90 and sustain $90 this year, I think you got another thing coming. I think OPEC's going to treat it as its own like trailing stop, if you will. As prices go up, they'll continue to increase production to meet that because that's what they really want to do, right? It's going to, especially with the smaller countries there. Nat gas got a nice little pop. That's more weather related. Ukraine-Russia flows that stopped officially at the beginning of the year, right? That's not a surprise, right? That's been something that has been on the radar here. That's going to impact natural gas flows to the EU of around the let's say 9 to 12%, kind of depends on your benchmark there. But the market is expecting around another 4 billion in LNG flows annually for this year to offset. Okay, and it still could be a bargaining ship. It's not like they're tearing down the pipelines. It's just they're stopping flows right now. So I think there's probably some tailwinds for nat gas for now. But any update to that weather forecast, which we get them frequently, right? Any update that's more favorable as far as seasonally warm weather, I think that's where you probably get that aggressive sell-off when it comes to natty. So I think it's doing good now, but just keep your eye out on it if you're making a play. And that's kind of what I have on the radar here today that I wanted to bring up. So I'll kick it back over to you guys. I do have to jump here in a second.
I appreciate you, Kevin. As always, glad we got you back here in 2025 and ready, excited to kill it this year. We got some good stuff coming. Appreciate you, Kevin. Are there any
I'm gonna post
macro?
this. I'm gonna post this chart that I was talking about from the Philly Fed. So if you guys want to, I'll post it for you guys right now. You can see what I was talking about. This chart that I'm basically posting is just showing the adjustment. So the preliminary CES is what was reported by the states before, and then early benchmark percentage is the expectation or what the Philly Fed's actually mapping out. And it's actually very interesting. And it's also very interesting too. I'll leave it on this note. It's very interesting to see which states are actually doing the downside revision. It's actually we're past the political season, but it's actually kind of eye-opening to see who actually overstated and how aggressively they overstated as well. Just a little bit of a nugget there. So yeah.
I
Hey, good
appreciate you,
morning,
Kev.
guys. I didn't want to interrupt. I hit NQ short at 74 there. I took profit half at 20 points. I'm looking for a lower low under this lower blow, 342.
Morning, Maple.
All right, good morning,
Definitely, as
Evan.
you
What's
guys are
up, bro?
hanging out in these spaces, make sure you're following everyone, and especially when someone says something smart, informational, intelligent, whatever it is, go in, check them out. We're going to start switching the discussion a little bit, as you kind of heard there, a little bit more towards like some live trading as the market opens up here. I really appreciate Stock Talk and Kevin for helping us with that Tesla space and get ready for the day space and EMP as well. And we're going to start shifting over into some live trading here. We got our friends Maple Stacks. We got KC up here as well, and EMP and a bunch of others. And I'm sure some more people will be funneling through. So get excited for that. Maple, we got the NQ short. Was that your first trade of the year, or were you degenning last night or something?
No,
What are we watching this
yeah, I
market
took some
today?
trades last night actually, and it was pretty clean. I took a little loss this morning, got half of it back already. But I'll get my SPY directional analysis pin at the top, just giving you an insight as to what I'm looking at for SPY today. There it is, pinned at the top. I wonder if this gap up on lower volume, if it's supported. But if it actually fails, we could see that close from Friday at 586. So I'm not obviously biased towards this, but as long as 10-minute EMAs hold bearish and price maintains below VWAP, we could see that push down to that close. But definitely pay close attention to that pre-market low at 588. That is a golden zone from the previous day low to the pre-market high. If buyers defend that golden zone, pre-market low area, I think it's a good catalyst for a higher low, for a higher high over the pre-market high 592. So just a little bit of a, unbiased perspective on SPY today. Also keeping watch on Meta, struggling at its previous day high here 594. If sellers maintain this supply zone with strength from Friday, I feel like again similar thesis to SPY. We see 589, that pre-market low area.
We'll be keeping an eye on that one. Maple, appreciate you. Let's keep going in here and getting everyone to speak before the open. KC, good morning, sir. Happy New Year. How you doing today? You watching anything in this market?
Good morning, Evan. I just grabbed shares of TSLL right here at $25. Actually, it just got filled on the order. So I grabbed some earlier this morning on the initial drop. I did place an order probably about 10, 15 minutes ago to purchase more at $25, and it did just fill that order. So I grabbed some shares there, and I placed another order to grab more at 23.55 if it continues downside. So obviously this drop on TSLL for these shares that I'm getting, for those that don't know, you guys I'm sure already did talk about Tesla. Tesla's down just over 4% this morning. So just grabbing some shares in the long-term account on TSLL. So I did just get that done. Two names I'm watching for potential upside continuation is ticker Oxy, OXY. A break and base above $50 is super critical for this name. And then I'm watching ticker XOM for a move to 110 over 108 today. It's above 108 here pre-market. So I'm watching those two names for potential upside.
Got you, KC. I appreciate you. Good morning, sir. Appreciate you joining us. Happy New Year as well. Emp, I want to
Happy
throw
New
the same
Year,
thing over
Evan.
to you. Yeah, it's going to be a fun year. I know 2025 is going to be huge. Now, is it going to be huge downside and we have a fun time in here, huge upside, and we have an even more fun time? I don't know. But I'll be in a position to have a good time either way.
Let's have both.
Let's have both. Por qué no las
Make
dos?
make
Hola, ¿cómo
volatility great
estás?
again.
Mi amigo.
Boy, the
Whatever.
Puerto
I don't know how to
Rico's
say.
really getting to you down there.
I was gonna try and say what setups are you watching in the stock market today in Spanish, but I don't. Okay. That's about as far as I got. So what are you watching in the stock market today? Em?
I want to see if this rally from overnight holds in here. Uh, I was looking at the NQ chart. We essentially came to the opening area of Tuesday and rejected, and then obviously when Tesla's numbers came out, we dropped a little bit harder. Um, it is an important reminder that Tesla is weighted pretty heavily in the Nasdaq. So QQQ or NDX and Q, whatever you trade. If you trade Nasdaq, you have Tesla decently heavily weighted in there. I can't remember what number it is on the list. I think it's like 5 or something like that. But either way, it's in the top 10. I can pull that up here in a second. Outside of that, I just want to see what happens after that sell-off that we had on Tuesday, because Tuesday we had obviously kind of broke structure. We thought we had kind of the higher low on the daily, and now we don't really. QQQ came right to the 50-day moving average, um, right around the 510 area. Let me see. Let me get my chart pulled. Yeah. Um, we'll call it 51050-ish or whatever. So basically your low on Tuesday was the 50-day. It's the first time QQQ's touched it since the 16th of September. So I know Spice chart looks a little bit different, but tech is what I watch the most. And I mean, to me, the first time you touch the 50-day moving average in over 3 months is usually probably going to be some type of a bounce spot. We've started to get that this morning. Now, can we hold it? That's going to be probably the biggest question for me today and tomorrow even.
So it sounded like you cut out there, Amport. You were done speaking?
I was done.
There. Man, a few words.
No
What's up,
audio
Sniper?
issues on my end.
There you go. How you doing, Sniper? What are you watching in this market today? We got about
I'm doing
2 minutes until the market opens on 2025.
I'm doing spectacular. I'm looking at this micro level on SPY at 591.40. That's going to be my top watch. It's not that far above us. I'm really excited about this year. I do anticipate, though, considering that we are on an interrupted week, that we will see some lower volume. So I'm going to proceed with extra caution today. I may or may not take a trade, but ideally I want to see that 591.40 short. But that's my ideal setup on the day. Other than that, I don't really see much that really gets my attention so much, especially considering that it's the first day of the year and also that the market was closed on Wednesday. But ideally, I'm looking for that 591.40 rejection on SPY, and hopefully we could see 8 to 10 million volume within 1 hour of the trading day.
I appreciate you, Sniper. We got about 1 minute until the market is opening up here. 25, let's make it a good one.
15 seconds.
Apple's down a little bit. Tesla's down about 3.3 something percent in pre-market trading here. Most of the other Mag 7 and a lot of the other names in my portfolio are green to start off the day. So we'll see. There was a bunch of names that had some big moves. I know Stock Talk was talking about a couple of them earlier. Cloudflare up about 7% in pre-market trading. Markets are now open, so welcome to the year. MODG, which is Topgolf, was up pretty big earlier.
WINA,
This is a weird candle here. I don't know if that's just
partnership
like
with
some of it's
PGA
opening.
Tour, golfer Tom Hoge.
But the 2025 stock market season is now officially open. On these spaces, we're going to have some discussions going on, but as traders have live trades to say, they're going to come in and cut the other people off. That's just kind of how these spaces go, as those are more time pertinent. So
All right,
definitely
we're
don't
up
feel
over
bad about.
up over 50 points here on NQ. It's $1,000 bill. Make sure you manage this trade. If it does want to continue lower, we could see a bill breaker at 300.
Nasdaq is up 86.7.
10-minute CVC still short. We did break VWAP, so you do have to take profit if you
29.5.
can.
Dow Jones Industrial average up 291.18.
Appreciate that, Maple.
Sorry, Evan. My bad, bro.
Bro, what
I literally, you cut me off saying cut me off. So that is a perfectly acceptable thing to say.
CTCX, Carmel Corporation.
It's actually
quoted
the
on a
encouraged
circuit
way to
breaker.
do it.
That's Charlie Tango, Charlie X-ray,
What a drop
CTCX.
there at 10 a.m. on Tesla. Oh boy.
All right, trailing
wonder-
stop loss hit and profit. And
Shares
Q.
halted at the highs.
I wonder what happened.
12 after that acquisition
Numbers or
news
something like
earlier.
that. That's what they're saying.
CTCX.
Sounds made up. Sounds no proof. No proof. Decently green though across the board outside of Tesla right now off the bat. Robinhood, by the way, they did $5 million of giveaways in the last 2 days, and their stock is up 3% here this morning. So I guess that's Nvidia. the money coming back. Nvidia's up 2%. It's breaking pre-market high right here. It was the strongest one in overnight, other than the initial pop from Tesla. What's up, Mikey?
DJ Mikey, welcome to the chat. By the way, it looks like Tesla starting the day down 4.2% after announcing deliveries. I got a good screenshot there.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yo, what's up, Mike?
What's up, Mikey?
Good morning.
GM.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen you
Yes,
guys
sir.
since
Happy
last
New Year.
Been so long since I've seen you guys.
Then, bro, these year-to-date charts
Story and Q off the
looking
2-minute
crisp.
game, eh?
Wow, that's a rough year-to-date chart there on Apple. Just saying. Tough scene. Of course, Tesla
Nvidia,
first year
strong
they have to
upside
do
candle at the open.
bad earnings.
Okay, I like NVIDIA,
Or not
140
earnings.
calls.
Don't you know? Pump it up. Let's see NVIDIA. Ooh, that's a nice open.
20-point gain NQ covered half.
Palantir holding a little bit, but still dipping here, looking for a bounce. What's up, B trades? What are you looking at? No, he's not talking. And who's buying Ticker Talk?
Let's get a bill breaker
Oh, is
here.
it
300 just broke. We're up over
Alright.
50 points. It's $1,000 per contract on NQ right now. Beautiful. No longs, guys, until the CBC flips. I think we're going to see that gap fill at 586 on SPY.
SPY's knifing hard here. Just broke pre-market low.
All right, watch 587.50 area on SPY for a
All right,
second.
I'm all out of NQ here. 60-point gain. $1,200 bill.
I see Bitcoin above 97K now.
Ooh. A little bit below 97, but yeah, close.
My portfolio just went from green to red on the day.
Coming up at
Mine was holding up real
9:45,
nice
S&P
before that
Am-
Tesla drop.
Amazon, big
manufacturing
spike
PMI
and
for
drop.
December, 48.3 expected, and at
Tesla
10 a.m.
news.
construction
Whatever you
spending.
do, you want to stay green today. So at the end of the
halted
day,
on a
you
circuit
can
breaker.
post. I have been green every trading day this year.
Halted on the way down now, $1.04.
A year-to-date return is 2%. Year-to-date return. There you go.
Yeah, damn. What's moving lower here besides my Apple and my Tesla? Oh, Tesla's down 5% now. That's what it was. It was accelerating to the downside.
Yeah, Google just went red too.
Google.
And yeah, Wolf, I'm behind both accounts. No, I figured. I remembered.
Oh, how is the sound quality? Let me go on the YouTube live stream. Feel free to link that up in the nest above. I know Maple Stack's live on YouTube as well. Feel free to put that up in the nest. Shout out.
RCLV, we found Dell's vision for 2025, shaping future retail through advanced AI innovation in partnership with Microsoft and Google. Romeo's and Victor.
I don't know if you guys saw my tweet last night, but fuckulate is now in the Urban Dictionary.
Was
Yeah,
that
I mean,
on
SPX
a mug?
5860 puts.
Sorry?
Was that on a mug or something? I couldn't tell.
It's on the. You get that mug when you get approved to get on the Urban Dictionary.
Mmm.
TGT
That's
call.
funny. Target's halted. Let's take a look.
Ooh.
Urban Dictionary.
Just call.
Oh wow, it's right next to Rizzed Up.
Wait, is Target halted right now?
No, so they added it by Stock Queen. Mikey, are you Stock Queen? That's quite the interesting
No.
name there in Urban Dictionary.
No.
It says, fuckulate, to get stock option bangers all day from at McCalshy.
I've been officially fuckulated. Banger after banger. The amount of money being printed on these cons is insane. That is now on Urban Dictionary. Wow. Direct quote to Mikey.
That's hilarious, actually.
7% down now. We just filled the gap on QQQ and SPY.
What word should Evan make up? I've got a phrase. My portfolio is up.
I'm an XOM call.
I didn't know that you get a mug when you make it to Urban Dictionary. It's cool.
Yeah, that's why it's blue.
Mm. See, we are definitely moving lower on a few areas here. Tesla's now down 6.6% on the day and plunging. It was up 1.7% in pre-market, so that's an 8% reversal right now.
But anybody can right underneath the quote for the Urban Dictionary. There's like a little line that says
Bought
"Get
some
mugged."
Netflix puts. Bought some 870 Netflix puts here. Sorry, Mikey.
No problem.
870 Netflix puts. What were you saying, Mikey?
Right underneath the quote for the fuckulate, there's a button that says "Get mugged now," so you can pick the mug in any color.
Got it. Hey, Josh, are those 870 puts expiring tomorrow?
No, they're the 110s. Sorry.
Got it. Yes, just because we have that. Always good to make a distinction.
Yeah, these moved fast as fuck. By the way, I'm about 20% right now. I had a 730 entry.
And Q about to lose 200. Oh boy.
All right, $150 per contract gain SPX sold half. I'm looking for 586 on SPY. If it gets real nasty, we could see previous day low 584. Meta, I missed this one. I mentioned in pre-market, but that struggle off the previous day high, we brought us down to the previous or to the pre-market low under 588.93. You're in a golden zone, but again, if this fails horrendously, you could see 583.86 previous day low.
Boy, Apple 2% down. Going on, Evan?
It's a long year. It's a long year.
Maybe Warren
long
Buffett was right.
Oh gosh.
90 cents LPTH.
He saw what was coming. Let's see what else is moving. AMD, by the way, psyched everyone out. Up 1.7 pre-market, now flat.
Trim those target calls. Took a trim on XOM as well.
You know what AMD stands for, right?
On the Micro Romeo Alpha.
Massive disappointment's what KC told me.
Shares down
No, it stands for always moving down.
NMRA.
Oh, well, I like that one better.
Yeah.
CELH 2850 call.
Resume trading. Romeo Echo Victor Bravo.
A massive disappointment. That's good.
KC texted me a different one, but I'm not gonna say that one out loud.
Mm.
Shares at $1.04 off the highs.
All right, this 138 spot on TGT is big. I need it to break and face above this. It's going to be entering into that big gap fill on the daily.
Small rebound on Tesla. About 1%. Yeah, me and Evan also have no power right now. Apartment, it is so hot in here. I'm literally just like shirtless at a sting. We don't have any AC here in Puerto Rico.
Bro, how is that? Like the rolling outages, like is it fixed in like
I
a
don't know,
day
bro.
or?
Power came back 2 times and then went away again.
Damn. You know, that happened to me like when I was in the Virgin Islands. They just like had rolling power outages to, I don't know, conserve
I'm not
power or
really
some
sure
shit.
what's happening here.
It's crazy.
It was fine for the first couple months.
You gotta get a ice vest, bro.
I do gotta get my vest.
CTX resuming trade. Carmel Corporation. Shares off the highs.
Aries is up a couple percent here.
Company announcing
We do have the final global manufacturing PMI from S&P coming out in a couple minutes.
Of Elevide Skincare from ELA.
Celsius up almost 5% on the day. It's the year of Celsius.
That's Charlie Tango Charlie X-ray.
Because it certainly wasn't last year. Oh man, SoFi getting crapped on right now. SoFi's down 7%.
Yeah, did you see that analyst downgrade?
No, but
Yeah,
sounds
Stock
par
Talk
for the course.
posted it.
Ticker symbol wolf starting off the year strong. Must go up so it can give it back. Interesting scenarios here. Reddit's down about 3%. Airbnb's up
TGT ripping above
0.4%.
138. Trim out of those calls. XOM's coming up to pre-market high at 15%.
It's a nice pattern on the TGT daily.
IWM's hanging in there pretty well.
AEHR popping here to the highs. AER test system 1795. Alpha Echo Hotel Romeo. $18.04 now, up 8.5%. AEHR. TSLA Tesla moving big off the lows now, 385.39, up about $12 off the lows on Tesla. Down about 4.5% now, TSLA.
We got B trades coming back up. B trades.
1 minute to the PMI.
1 minute to the PMI.
1 minute to the PMI.
Paul Revere out here. The British are coming.
Meta 585 put, 2-minute EMA risk.
These crypto mining stocks are moving up today. Pretty nice. Mara's at high of day, 6%.
MSTR 320 call.
That would make sense that would be moving as well. How about that, Evan? MSTU starting the year up 10%.
Bang bang. Oh, I gotta change stuff out in my competition portfolio.
I'm also into meta puts for the 117 too.
Crisp year-to-date chart on MSTU.
My idea with these meta puts, because the technicals right now are showing me a bounce on the 1 minute and 5 minute, but my idea is that TikTok won't get banned, and when that happens, we're gonna get a reaction out of Meta.
I don't think that they're going to ban it.
Yeah, too much money, and TikTok's valuation hasn't dropped at all, even after all these ban rumors.
I'm taking my.
starting to curl here.
I took my entry on the NVIDIA 140s. MSTR is ripping.
Another couple percent right there.
Correction on that. The consensus was 48.3, 49.4.
49.4 consensus with 48.3.
S&P futures moving a bit higher now.
590 call, SPY, 0
up
DTE.
about 13.
Nice bounce here.
IWM's still doing very well.
Tesla's only down 2% now, or 4% now, sorry.
Up 12% on SPY, 0 DTEs.
Hey Gav,
Mm-hmm.
have you tried looking at the 2x inverse Tesla ETF, ticker TSLZ? That one's red. That one's green today.
This is the beauty in the market. There's always something that's green. TSLZ starting off the year up 9%. If you are a Tesla hater in the crowd and this was, your breaking point, they just couldn't meet the delivery numbers, you might want to take a look at TSLZ from our partner and friend over at T-Rex, double leverage inverse Tesla. Or if you, take a look at the prospectus, of course, to understand the risk. But if you are thinking that the opposite way is an opportunity here, go for TSLT. And
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's at a huge daily support right here. This thing could. I'm trying to be patient, but I really want to average into my long term position, especially since I did some selling at 350 and then at 450 as well. For my share position, and for those unaware, Tesla was over half my long term account for 2024. At like a 165 average, and I've sold off about 60% of that position since. So I'm definitely looking to load back up because I want it to be majority of my account for like the next 4 years. I just thought it ran up too much too fast, got a little ahead of itself. But I'm willing to set up some options here if we can see a bounce off this daily EMA.
Oh fuck.
Roaring, if it would have closed at some of the higher levels today, the highest close going back to November of 20.
yeah, it is an intriguing level.
Spending in the ISM.
Ticker U, $30 call.
Don't see it's up over 5% now. Oh, Mikey, so what do you think about all the ticker U stuff with Roaring Kitty?
You saw the write up I did on ticker U and GME, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think about it.
You saw he was doing some more stuff today. Or I guess with one tweet today, technically.
Yeah, I've been telling you guys since a while that I'm expecting major news for ticker U at the end of the year. Well, we're now at the beginning of the year, but neither here or there.
Close enough. It's pretty funny to see in my news highlights on TradingView tweets about Ryan Kitty hit the headline.
Yep.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year, fam.
What's up, B-Trades? Happy New Year.
NVIDIA up 25% from the entry. SPY up 20% from the entry.
Meta I cut too strong down here.
140-ish point bounce on NQ right here.
Now remember, we are in a massive negative gamma environment. When SPY starts reversing and starts moving, if we get some volume built into it, the market makers are going to be forced to start hedging their position by going long or buying calls on SPY. No choice in negative gamma environment. So if we go a little bit higher, we could have a fun day.
Rivian with the big bounce off the $13 area. If you do not have $12.75 to $13 marked on Rivian, you need to. That's a big spot.
Etsy, $56 call, ETSY.
NQ short, bill breaker scalp here. 2-minute EMAs. I'm looking for it.
Not in relation to what anybody else has said, but you do have a propensity to see a little bit more selling the first day after a bullish year like that. So do not long near resistance. Just don't. Your RR is going to be way off kilter.
But bro, resistance is meant to be broken. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you like the bullish trend, just buy dips is all I'm saying. Don't definitely don't.
I'm just fucking with you, brother.
Yeah. Did y'all have New Year in Canada too, or no?
Good one. No, in Canada they do New Year's next weekend. Remember, we're in the metric system.
Right.
Oh God, that was a great response.
All right, don't forget about those Riot $11 and $12 call swings. Riot is pushing back up to pre-market high from last session, looking for this move above $11. Get these in the money and then go to 12. 12s are back green after this pop this morning for the swing, just slightly.
Hello.
IWM new high of day. Broke pre-market high.
Ooh, TMDX up 10% today now. I saw Shy pointing to that Chamath tweet over the weekend.
BAC 4450 call. SPY up 45%. NVIDIA up 47%.
Flat NQ SPX.
You know what ticker I want to punch in the face? Even though I've made so much money off of it, ABGO. Oh my God.
You want to punch the ticker in the face, Mike?
Yeah, I do.
Coin back above 260, above pre-market high.
I really want ABGO over that 47.32, and I'll take a sizable long position and look for new highs.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take a sizable long position now. I'm going to do ABGO 250 calls.
He's got balls.
Is a nice bouncer.
Nancy's in. I'm in. If you bought AVGO and Nancy Pelosi bought it, you are killing it.
NVIDIA hit big support, 134.70. It was a level from last week. It just printed a Morningstar reversal off that low. It's a great spot for a long entry here. It's pushing back up to the high.
I'm gonna buy a sizable amount of Kava shares here, and I might look at some leaps.
SPY up 90%, NVIDIA up 80%.
Whoa, Kava's. I like Kava. Here.
DQQ just broke the opening print. SPY's doing it as well.
Ooh.
Just got a notification Robinhood up 5% on the day.
Well, so both their giveaways were crypto?
Yes, one was Doge, one was Bitcoin. And
Wolf actually
Pan
made a good point.
W 190 call. Pan W 190 call.
The first one went kind of viral, so like you would have expected there to be a lot less people on the second one. If they would have done the gold subscribers one first, it probably would have been like double, triple the amount. Honestly, of what they paid people, not the 2.5 million jackpot. Interesting. It went interesting, but I think they got like 420,000, 415,000 people on the app for that first one based on the numbers.
SPY 590 call, 0 DTE in the fucking money.
Boom.
yeah, I don't know how much that Robinhood thing contributed to today, but their market cap is up roughly 1.65 billion today. So if any of that $5 million giveaway helped contribute to that, I'd say that was a good play.
Those shares on TSLL, that position is now green. Told you from start, we're at 23.55 this morning. Nice bounce to 25.50.
Excuse me.
Boy, Rusty really going.
SPY up 110%.
Watch a rejection potentially right here on SPY. If it does, I would like a pullback down to like 589.10, and then I'd like to go long.
I'm gonna add some March 21st 550 puts on Meta for 1932.
Damn.
IWM is flying. Jeez.
Yeah, Rusty.
I got
Uh,
a nice pair trade. The SPY short IWM long is paying pretty well right here. My longs are up 23%. Both are dated in March as well.
so watch JPM, watch WFC, and watch Bank of America BAC. I think Mikey already called out BAC calls. I really like that. Hims new high a day. Rivian new high a day.
IONQ 4250 call.
All right, last time this setup happened, it fucking ripped to a new high of day. So watch Oxy for the bull flag right at the morning, holding the EMAs, and then break to go higher. Target upside from here is 51 to 51.4. Next target upside.
Thinkorswim just crashed. That was fun. I was literally in the middle of buying kava leaves.
Mine's still okay. Might be your internet.
Maybe.
You mother.
Not that it won't go higher. This is kind of a resistance area for me on SPY here in the low 590s.
Yep, 100%. I got a zone that starts at 590.15 to 590.6. Want to see it reject and then give this pullback and then go long.
I'd like to see us get back to the 50-day today on SPY 593.
Coming up, construction spending plus 0.3% expected. Construction spending unchanged.
Construction spending unchanged.
Plus 0.3% estimate.
Luis, I don't think anybody shorted Tesla.
Amazon, new high a day. My God. What a fucking reversal.
Is it really new high a day?
Yeah.
The problem was like,
what a wild morning for Amazon.
Like crazy. It's literally made a U. Maybe Unity Software is going to be hosting their services on Amazon AWS, so the market makers are telling you. That was a joke, by the way.
TGT back tested 138 and VWAP right there. I want to see that hold, make a little flag, and then see if it can continue higher.
Is that a Soldier Boy reference?
Yeah, there you go. Damn. Can't get anything past you.
By the way. If you call Wolf, his phone just goes, you.
Dun, dun,
Soldier Boy Talon.
Pretty much.
How's your Celsius doing today, Gov?
Oh boy.
It's
great.
Bubbly. It's bubbly.
Oh, it is bubbly. Bubbly.
Can you buy Celsius in Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, everywhere. They have like an entire section in the grocery stores.
Oh, nice.
They actually have like the most options I'd ever seen here. Amazon looking really good.
Meta 600 call scout.
Oh, Uber.
Hindenburg just put out a tweet. What is it?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Stinky.
What is this?
Spaghetti.
New from okay, wait.
Hindenburg
Oh,
Research.
Mikey, they're coming after Carvana. New from us, from Hindenburg Research. Carvana, a father-son accounting grift for the ages.
Oh boy. They said our research uncovered $800 million in loan sales to a suspected undisclosed related party, along with details on how accounting manipulation and lax underwriting have fueled temporary reported income growth, all while insiders cash out billions in stock. This was posted less than 1 minute ago. CVNA Carvana is down 5% on the day and going lower at the moment here.
How cute. They want to come out with a short report when the ticker was squeezed from $2 all the way up to $260. Yeah, there's doing your job properly.
I like the comment they said that Carvana's toxic loan book is a result of lax underwriting standards. Quote, we actually approved 100% of the applicants, end quote. You get a loan and you get a loan.
Yeah, that's called a promotion. We take responsibility.
No.
IONQ.
Look at Carvana now.
Again,
She
moving
wrecked.
now.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Carvana is moving
Well,
lower,
you know
even
that these
lower
guys
off that.
all load up puts right before they put those reports out too.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then while it's going down, they load calls.
Just want to tell you, they also
NQ long bill breaker scout.
I'm pretty sure they don't like. I mean,
Watch
I don't know. I
IWM
guess
calls
it's not
right here.
market manipulation technically, but it's fucked up. Yeah, Casey.
I was saying watch IWM calls right here. Back test of the 9 EMA and previous day high. Got a level around 223.25. Nvidia is also about to make a new high day.
$100 per contract gain. Meta call sold half.
RGTI, $19 call.
Meta looking decent. Meta over 600. There we go. I'm surprised we didn't get the Maple comments about going over 600.
Oh yeah, we're in there. I just scaled $100 for
Nvidia, new high a day.
185 con. NQ longs were up 30 points. I'm gonna sell half on the bill breaker. Meta flying here, 603 now. Oogie boogie.
Even Amazon's looking pretty decent too, actually.
You know it's not.
What a recovery. My God.
Look at Amazon. New highs.
CVNA, she's ripping up.
Meta is actually the best gainer of the top 10 NASDAQ stocks.
Yes, sir. When in doubt, trade Meta.
I really want to grab some CVNA calls.
Hindenburg's had the sauce for a little bit. I don't know, man.
Ooh.
God, look at the spreads on the January 17 calls for CVNA right now. Oh, it's just ripped. New high a day, CVNA.
It's a weird feeling when I've been buying a strike that's really far out, and then now it's like actually here, pretty much.
AFRM, affirm, $69 call.
You guys are seeing this on Carvana, right? Because Mikey, you
Yep.
literally said that they were buying calls.
Yep,
It just did a 7% reversal.
I can't.
that's correct.
Mikey, what calls are you in?
$69 call. AFRM.
No, for a CBNA.
I don't have calls. I said that that they're gonna jump on call, that they have calls and they're gonna rip it up.
Oh, okay.
Shares rebounding after that short report from the
Because I
Hindenburg,
tried to find
which
some calls on
you know,
CBNA, but the spread
186.86
between the
now
bid and the ask is
204.
It's
ridiculous.
too much. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm checking every day, every strike, and I can't find anything that's worth it right now. Unless you go deep in the money.
Yeah.
It is fucking ripping though. Oh my god. I should have just.
Yeah, with Hindenburg, they released a short report. They drop it as far as they can. They'll load puts before, but as they're dropping it, they're loading the shit out of calls, and then they rip the shit out of it. Remember, there's got to be a winner and a loser in every trade. So if everyone's going to go puts,
Oh my god, look at this.
Carvana now up over 1%.
Yeah, what an interesting move. Unexpected, honestly.
I mean,
You guys enjoying the live stream? Do y'all like this? This is kind of the first test of some ideas we're working on. Appreciate the those of you that are hanging out in here: JT, Bob, Trofer, Luis,
Snow
Keith,
and MDB looking
Ryan
really
was
good
up
right here.
earlier,
I might buy
Cordy.
some snow
Appreciate all
Ooh,
you
cones.
guys.
snowflake. Where are we at? Haven't looked at all.
honestly, KC, the 220s are not bad.
For January 3rd,
Yeah.
they're starting to. God, oh man, I'm fuck it.
Jesus, they're both. Wow, look at how.
Yeah, fuck it. I just sent an order. I'm gonna see if it fills. I'm gonna see what happens. This is ridiculous.
There's no like really good way to make this happen, but I've been just toying around with some places trying to figure it out.
Wow.
God, I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna buy one of them. I don't care. Just Jesus. Fill my order, and I just got
gasoline.
That's hilarious.
I'm out. I'm out. Oh my
AVGO.
Already up very nicely on Kava.
That was incredible. That was fun.
Oh my god.
Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I am gonna close this out, and I've got some other things to work on, and trade, and yeah, I gotta pop in Discord for a bit. So, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'll still be on Spaces, but I do have to close this down. I'm gonna go back and watch it at some point later today to kind of see how it sounded, what it looked like, all that good stuff. But appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see what happens. We're trying to figure out a way to do this more often, and especially for like the morning show with me and Evan and some of the earnings calls and stuff. So we'll see how it progresses, but I do appreciate everyone, and I will catch you guys next time around. Don't know when it's going to be, but we'll catch you guys then.